Hi guys, so I realise I haven't posted it in a while. My last video was just about the reality of being laid off. Um, oh, sorry about that noise. So I just thought I'd just talk about recruiting and things I have noticed and how it actually feels. I don't know if any recruiters are going to see this. I actually have a mentor that is an ex-recruiter, so luckily she's been giving me some insight. But she's been very vague. Like I don't think she wants to badmouth anyone or give me like the raw truthful reality, but yeah, I'm just gonna speak authentically about what's on my mind because if you don't know, I got laid off from like quite a massive tech company, um let's say 2 months ago now, and I officially finished working with them about 5 weeks ago. And I was applying to jobs before the layoffs happened because I kind of had this gut feeling that I don't feel like I'm providing value anymore. Like I feel really overlooked. I don't feel that happy to go to work. Granted, work doesn't need to be the most positive experience, and it isn't for a lot of people, but I started to feel like I didn't believe what I was saying. I felt like I didn't deserve to be in the rooms I was in, and I didn't think people were listening to me anymore. So I just felt like this just feels like that is the natural ending, and it was. And I wasn't that mad about it. Obviously, in the moment when you're laid off, it's always a shock. It's always like, wow, I'm never going to see these people again. Wow, I really was just deleted. Like, it's always a bit dehumanizing. But I also kind of thought this is the perfect way to catapult me into my next adventure. And also, I had actually had just bought a property. So I was kind of like, you know what? Getting laid off, not a bad idea, just because of the compensation and stuff. So what I wanted happened, but you're never ready for it. So I say all this to say I was kind of at an advantage because I had already applied to some jobs before the layoffs happened. So I was already in interviews and kind of getting through that weird stage where you're just trying to figure out what is the job market. The last time I've interviewed for a role was in 2020, which is like 5 to 6 years ago. And yeah, I had a lot to realize, a lot to learn, a lot has changed. AI has catapulted in since then. Layoffs have become a trend since then, so I really didn't know what to expect. But I am so shocked as at the same time at what I've actually realized, come to realize. And I just wanted to talk about recruiting hell, as the subreddit is called. I don't really read it because I think, do you know what? It's interesting to read, but I don't really go on Reddit. But when I do go on Reddit, I'm like, damn, like this isn't nice. Maybe I should have read a little bit more about it before I started my job search. I think that is actually a good point of advice. But I just, I can't believe the inconsideration. Sorry, why did I say inconsiderateness? I can't believe the inconsideration of recruiters. Like, a recruiter will literally reach out to you. Like, one of the recruiters reached out to me. They had seen my company was trending for layoffs, and they were like, "Are you open to work because of this?" And I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "I'm really sorry. Like, we're at this company as well. We'd love to have you on. You've got the skills, you've got the knowledge, you've come from one of the best in the industry." I was in final stages of another company, and I was like, do you know what? You guys seem like an amazing company. Like, just letting you know, this is where I'm at. Just to keep in mind that I might not be able to accept if it's not speeding up. Guys, they kept me, what's the word? Like, they kept me as a backup plan. It's so obvious they kept me up as a backup plan because the recruiter would message me every week to say, "Hey Gloria, how are things going? Like, how are your other interviews? Can you give us some more time? We just need another week." Bearing in mind, they started by saying, "We're going to get to you promptly next week, making a decision." They kept doing this for 6 weeks. And obviously, as the time went on, I just kept entertaining it because I was like, you guys seem like a shit company at this point, but I'm going to entertain it because I'm going to be polite. Who knows what they're going to offer? Um, Gets to the end, they give me little to no feedback. They're like, "Sorry, we've proceeded with someone else." Like, it was so obvious that they kind of used me at the start of their job search to benchmark. They liked me, but they didn't want to accept too quickly. They wanted to see what's out there, keep me hanging like that. "Oh, she's been laid off. She'll wait for us." And then they just give me no feedback or know where I fell short or nothing. So that pissed me off. Another thing that pissed me off happened 2 days ago. A recruiter messages me. I message a couple hours later. They're like, "Can you meet this week?" I'm like, "Here's a time." They message me an hour before they want to meet. "Make sure you join at this time. We've sent you the link." They literally went into my CV, found my email, emailed me straight. Like, fine, very proactive, but it felt very rushed. And I thought, okay, this is good. They really want to hire. They didn't. I mean, they probably do, but they didn't show up to the meeting. So they said that, like, make sure you're here. And they did all of that and they didn't show up. And I followed up and I said, you know, because I was thinking I'm at the wrong meeting link, like what's going on. So I just sent an email to say, you know, by the way, I'm here. Is this going ahead? Do you need to reschedule? Nothing. I sent it on LinkedIn and email. Radio silence. That pissed me off. And the thing about all of this is I have to be professional. I can't say fuck you. Like, I can't say you could have at least let me know, because they're gonna ignore it. Like, they don't care. I don't think they care. This is where I'm confused. Like, recruiters, what goes through your mind? I want to know what's on your mind when you're doing these things. I know you have loads of messages. I know recruiting is so stressful. I've heard it's like one of the worst industries to work in. Is that why? Like, I'm confused. Does recruiting make you kind of desensitized to people's feelings? Like, is that what's happening in that industry? Yeah. I've had countless emails. Like, I think the thing that kind of shocks me is you can speak to someone face to face, connect with them, blah blah blah, and then just have no consideration for their future, not even just send them a courtesy follow up to say, yeah, we're just going to end the like, some of them will talk to you and then never speak to you again, and they'll never tell you why, or they'll promise you feedback and then they won't give it to you. Like, why promise it? Like, I know feedback is a lot of effort. Why promise it knowing that feedback is such a massive asset to someone job searching? Why give them that false hope? Obviously, I've only been job searching for 2 months, and I'm sure if I had to job search for longer, I would kind of know these things, and I just go in with don't care. Because one of my other friends quit from my company, and when I ask him for advice, he's very cutthroat. Like, don't worry, just ignore them, they're blah blah blah, like, forget about them. And I'm like, really? Like, this feels wrong, this feels a bit inhumane, but I can definitely see how people get to that point. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I just need to be just for myself. So I don't know if I mentioned I do have a job offer, and I got offered a job like a week and a half after I got laid off, which is like insane. But bear in mind, I applied to this job before the layoffs. And in a way, I feel quite lucky. That recruiter reached out to me. The process was quite simple. And I also didn't do that amazingly in the interviews, but they still wanted me. And it's quite a big company. So I have that there. I just have an slight issue with how they handled certain things that is making me feel a bit like, should I join, should I not? But I guess that's what the probation period is for. I'm trying to think, like, what else I've thought about recruiters. Like, there was one recruiter that said, can you wake up really early, 6 a.m. or something for this, and then didn't follow up. Like, it's like, I accommodated you, but you can't even accommodate me with some courtesy. I'm starting to think I'm just being way too nice. Like, I hate ghosting culture. I hate treating people like they're not a person, even though I'm never going to see or speak to them again. Yeah, I'm just starting to think I need to be a bit more brutal in this process. You're probably wondering, why am I still in the process if I've got a job offer? It is just that concern I have. I'm like, do I relax and just get into this role and accept one bad thing about it, which is quite substantial to me? But I digress. But I think with this current job market, you just can't really have it all. So I need to pick my poison in a sense. And I think I'm kind of coming to terms with having to pick my poison, even though it doesn't make me happy in the long run. I know this isn't forever. I'm trying to think, like, what else with recruiters. I'm like, what is this? Like, it's just honestly, it's mostly the ghosting. It's like messaging me and then not replying. Like, why do you reach out to me? Like, what is that about? Is that because they've seen someone better already? I need to know what recruiters go through, because I've heard it's bad, but I didn't know it was so bad that it made them into people like this. And I don't know, I'm sure what this is making me a stronger person, and in the long run, it's going to help me in the future if I ever need to job search again. But this was all a shock to me. I feel very naive. I feel like I'm just too empathetic. I remember I actually accidentally didn't show up to a call. I was on holiday. This was like my sign that I'm actually burnt out and I need to take a break, because it just completely left my brain. And I'm a very, very organized person. That does not happen to me, especially when it's important. Something stays in my mind. I don't even have to put a reminder sometimes. It just stays there until the end of the day. And when I realized, I was like, oh my God, this girl probably sat on a call for 5 minutes. Lo and behold, I've had recruiters literally leave me in the call for like 50 minutes and still not reply to my email, not the day after, not 2 days after. And I was upset that a recruiter had to stay on there for 5 minutes. Like, and I emailed to apologize. I said, you know, this is really shameful. Wasting people's time. It's like, I take that seriously. And then I just thought, was I meant to apologize? Like, was I meant to just treat them like they're not a human? Is that what I'm meant to be doing? Like, I had a recruiter completely mess up the time zones for my meetings with her team and me. And when I told her, are you sure the team wasn't on the call at this time? Like, I just said, are you sure there hasn't been a mix up? She kind of just didn't really care. Like, she did fix everything, but it was like, she was just like, oh, it's just another day. It's just another mistake. Like, and I thought, oh, okay. Like, because for me, it sounded really, very serious, because this was a company I was like, wow, this looks so perfect for me. So I think I took it very seriously. Yeah, right now I am in one of the best interview processes I've ever experienced. So that's kind of a little shining light. But considering I've done probably like 10 to 20 interviews, it's like, okay, so being a good recruiter just isn't really a common thing at all, even for really good companies. Like, that in that section of a company tends to just be bad. Is that what it is? But I just had to rant. If you're going through this, I'm sorry, I feel your pain. I think we need to become a little bit more robotic. I literally just had a interview where the person just said, "You're not what we're looking for," straight up, like within 5 minutes of the interview. And I just thought, hold on, I've called the recruiter. I've had 3 conversations with the recruiter. I asked him, is there anything needed? He's just like, no, you're perfect. You've got everything. Job description was there. We were like, great. Going to the meeting. Have you done this? No, I haven't. Okay, goodbye. This is all the prep I did, by the way, as well as some on my computer. And I just thought, okay, so the recruiter didn't do their job, or did they not do that? Like, yeah. Do you know what? It's a blessing in disguise that I'm actually doing this while I'm laid off and not while I'm at my old company anymore, because when I was there, it was very hard to be prepared for these things. And now I have all the time in the world, but it's like, I'd love to be using this time to upskill myself, to relax before I get back into 9 to 5 culture, but I'm having to use it to just kind of get my hopes up and then lose them constantly. And I know I have loads of skills and stuff because I'm getting the interviews, but it's like, and then I get to second stage or something, but then it just kind of disappears. But yeah, I do have a new job that is starting in 3 weeks. So obviously when I start that, I'm going to slow down and just see how it goes there. Obviously for the probation period, I'm really going to take that to make sure this is the right place for me, because I need to be selfish is what I'm learning. And I'm kind of glad I've learned that lesson. I don't think I'm selfish enough. But yeah, guys, that's me. That's the tea. And for anyone who resonated with my last video, I'm here. I'm going through it. I feel your pain, and I'll definitely do a video talking about like good things and how to be a bit better with your job search and how to get the interviews, because I think as time goes on, I've understood that really well. Apart from having bad recruiters and bad job descriptions, because there was one of those as well. They wrote the whole job description and then I got to the last stage and they were like, sorry, we've had to pause the role. It was only you and another person, but we feel like we've left something out of the job description. I thought, amazing. Like, I did 2 stages of interviews. I did a case study that I spent over a week preparing while I was at my job, so I was like losing sleep over this. And then I get to the last stage and they're like, actually, we might need to hire someone in another country. Yeah, guys, check me out on TikTok at Barbie Bang Out. Feel free to DM me there. I respond to everything. And yeah, best of luck to anyone else who is going through this.